Welcome to Medica Cardio Talk 13. So with me today, Dr. Dilip Kumar, my colleague, and we are going to again talk to you on advances in cardiology. We all know that P2Y12 inhibitors, which are basically an antiplatelet drug, are very important component for patients who require angioplasty, more so in all situations of angioplasty like primary angioplasty and elective angioplasty. We have drugs like clopidogrel, like ticlopidine and prasugrel, but all these drugs are being orally used. So clearly there is a limitation of bioabsorbability and bioavailability of these drugs, especially in situations where we need rapid onset of action. We have drugs like cangrelor for a longer period of time, which is being used intravenously as an antiplatelet drug, P2Y12 inhibitor. Today, we are going to talk to you about the intravenous P2Y12 inhibitor. With me, Dr. Dilip Kumar is going to talk to us on the uses of cangrelor, the antiplatelet drug, in clinical practice for patients who require PCI or angioplasty. Dr. Dilip Kumar.
Hello everyone. So I think, sir, you have rightly set the pretext. Cangrelor is a very strange molecule. Why I am calling it strange? Because it's there in practice since last 2 decades, but it has still not found its proper, I think, place. It has we have got a lot of studies with it, and of late we have got good studies with ticagrelor and cangrelor. So basically the problem lies in when we are going for intervention in complex PCI in patients who are naive to P2Y12 receptor antagonist, who have not been given earlier, like primary PCI setup. Suddenly someone has a heart attack, he has come to us, and we are quickly taking these patients for PCI. So they were not on P2Y12.
So I think, as you said, that this drug, although available for 2 decades, but the usage or clinical use of this drug is very heterogeneous globally.
Right.
And there may be some reason. Is it because of the availability of the data, or is it because of something else? So let us sort of talk about it.
Yeah, right, sir. I think the initial data where champion group of trials was done, they evaluated with a kind of a definition of myocardial infarction which was not properly kind of laid out, and after that they came with universal MI definitions, and then ischemic events were really different. So from champion Phoenix to CACTIC trial, we have got good results with cangrelor. Probably that was the main reason. The initial studies did not show any kind of benefit.
Right. So I think yes. So what is the current status? Because we have situations like acute myocardial infarction, cardiogenic shock with acute coronary syndrome. So where if you use oral drugs, the bioavailability is uncertain, isn't it?
Right, sir. This molecule, this drug is very strange, very unique. It comes into action in 30 seconds to 1 minute, maybe maximum 2 minutes, and then the half-life is 4 to 6 minutes only.
You're good.
And once we stop the drug, the effect goes away in 30 minutes to 1 hour time.
Sure. So which means that in these situations is a good, wonderful drug, because you can rapidly block the platelets, antiplatelet receptor can be blocked, right?
Yes, and it has shown against ticagrelor that once ticagrelor was given with crushed tablets and cangrelor was given CACTIC trial, they have shown that there is a significant reduction in platelet inhibition right within 5 minutes of giving this cangrelor, and it stayed throughout the infusion of cangrelor.
Oh,
so it was
lovely.
very interesting, and they have also shown significant reduction in ischemic events against ticagrelor.
So we have got enough evidence to suggest that.
Yes.
So what is your recommendation therefore?
I must say, especially primary PCI setup, when we are really bothered about platelet inhibition during the procedure, if we want to have a good outcome, we can use cangrelor. But there is a caveat. The cangrelor has shown some kind of drug interaction with clopidogrel and prasugrel.
Oh right. Oh, that's
so their efficacy becomes doubtful afterwards. So with ticagrelor, I think this is a very good option. It doesn't affect the bioavailability of ticagrelor afterwards, and there is no known interaction with ticagrelor.
So as you may know that we have to combine intravenous and oral antiplatelet drug P2Y12 inhibitor, perhaps cangrelor along with ticagrelor, right?
Yes. And this is a very good combination, especially those patients who are in cardiogenic shock. There, once we give the oral medicine, how much it is going to absorb because of low GI kind of perfusion, it's very
Correct.
difficult. And also patients who are throwing up, like repeated vomiting is happening, so we don't know how much the patient is getting, the drug is
Agreed.
getting absorbed. So these two situations, this is very extremely important to use Cangrelor. And in other situations when the patient is very high risk and high thrombotic burden, and patient is having multiple risk factors, in these situations also I
So
feel,
is it available in India?
yeah, it's widely available in India rather, and we have used in our hospital, and we have found good results with Cangrelor.
So as we all know, that we have been using in our hospital this intravenous P2Y12 inhibitor, and we're getting excellent result. Is it very costly to the patients?
It's not that costly, and once we see the benefit out of this drug in these complex situations like cardiogenic shock
Sure.
and
Life-saving
patient
situations.
very, I think it's
Cost effective. So what is your take-home message to our viewers?
Yeah, with recent trials and recent understandings, it is very clear that Cangrelor is a worthy drug. And what I feel that I also had a lot of hesitations earlier, but when I reviewed the entire literature, I see worth in this drug, and it should be used rather when we are dealing with a complex situation, primary PCI, multivessel disease. Right, you start Cangrelor, you have given Ticagrelor also. Then once you stop Ticagrelor, you can continue the Ticagrelor. So this molecule should be used in special situations.
Excellent. So from intravenous P2Y12 inhibitor Cangrelor, it's a good drug, especially in acute MI with cardiogenic shock and patients with recurrent vomiting, and those situations where oral bioavailability can be uncertain. So from intravenous Cangrelor, let us talk briefly about what are the newer guidelines in cardiology in 2021. Dr. Kumar, could you tell us what are the newer guidelines?
Yeah, there has been some interesting developments happen, and the guidelines have come up which are really practice changing. And what I mean to say about practice changing is, like many patients, we were doing some intervention or a bypass surgery was done on patients with a triple vessel disease, proximal LED lesion.
Yes.
Even
yes.
if the ejection fraction was normal and patient had symptoms which were more or less controlled on drug, since LED was involved proximally, we used to feel that it is our duty to open this. But this recent guidelines, because of the paucity of data, hardcore data, and it is now 2B indication. So there is no point intervening even after with PCI or with CABG.
Right.
This is
okay.
one.
So these are stable patients otherwise.
Stable patients.
Excellent. Any other sort of key guideline in 2021?
Yeah, one more interesting development has happened in intervention is the route of intervention in coronary intervention rather. So now they have very clearly defined in AHA guidelines this year that it should be radial route, be it acute coronary syndrome setup, be it stable ischemic heart disease setup. So if
Okay. So we have been using the radial route for intervention in acute myocardial infarction for primary angioplasty. So the new guidelines says that we can actually use even in elective patients or chronic stable patients who require PCI, right?
Yes.
Anything else? What about
one or two points more I think which I feel that is also again practice changing is they have come up with a very strict criteria and emphasis on not to touch those patients of STEMI who are coming after 24 hours.
Right.
And who are relatively asymptomatic. Who are asymptomatic after 24 hours of MI, there is no point going for revascularization in these patients. Immediate.
Right, which essentially means the patients of heart attack who remain asymptomatic, no pain, no shortness of breath, stable, do not intervene, wait for a while, let him become much more stable, and then you can consider to take this patient for further intervention like angiogram and angioplasty, but certainly not after 24 hours if the patient is stable. Anything else?
And last I would say non-STEMI. There was some confusion regarding when to take up these patients for cath lab. So they have clarified it more. So it's very, in this guideline they have told very categorically that once the patient is symptomatic, highly symptomatic, it has to be taken on urgent basis.
Yes.
But those who are not very symptomatic, then we have to score it. We have to risk stratify these patients. And if the GRACE score is more than 140, if it's falling in high risk criteria, then we should take these patients for cath intervention within 24 hours.
Right, okay.
And those patients who are lower intermediate risk of acute coronary syndrome, non-STEMI, then we should do an intervention angiogram followed by revascularization if needed during this hospitalization, not within 24 hours. Like
but
2-3
maybe
days
before pre-discharge.
before pre-discharge.
So it essentially means that those patients who are non-STEMI but completely asymptomatic, you wait. Patients having ongoing chest pain of non-STEMI or ECG changes during stay in the hospital. Obviously, the patient must be hospitalized. Do not send them home. Keep them in the hospital, observed for symptoms like chest pain or even other symptoms along with ECG changes. And in that case, you intervene during those 24 hours time. But the patient is of low risk and patient is relatively stable, then you can probably wait, ensure that pre-discharge intervention would be required. Is it?
Yes.
And completely asymptomatic patient also has to be at some stage taken up for further intervention like angiography and
Right.
revascularization. Am I correct?
Right, sir.
So any other thing or this or sort of these are the four key.
I think and rest of the guidelines they have written is probably reflecting the same as it was earlier.
Excellent. So
Yes.
as we knew today that intravenous P2 Y12 inhibitor antiplatelet drug like intravenous Cangrelor is a new, although it's an old drug, but with the new data should be used in patients who require angioplasty, especially patients of acute myocardial infarction with incessant vomiting, cardiogenic shock, where the bioavailability of orally used drugs are questionable. Second, it's widely available in India, it is cost effective. Second, there are four important key guidelines which has changed the patient management in 2021 as we just discussed right now. With that, we thank you very much once again to watch our Medica or cardio program or cardiology update or updating ourselves and advancing our knowledge. And therefore, please tune yourself and listen to us and listen to Medica Cardio Talks. I'm sure that you will enjoy it. See you again in Medica Cardio Talks 14. Thank you very much.